Remember when we took our mast out a while ago? Well, part of the reason for this was that the hole that the mast went through looked like it was rotting and needed to be fixed.
The old fiberglass wasn't bonded at all to the wood, like at all, and it just kind of peeled up. So I cut that off, and then the chamfer was all cracked, so I started grinding into that, and it was just Bondo. And then they had it tapered back here. The glass is on top of the old gel coat, and they had it tapered back on top of more filler. So started chipping out all this Bondo, and it was like a 1/4 inch thick up here, and now it's like pretty thin as we get back. I'm going to wet out this wood with resin.
Polyester resin?
Polyester resin.
Okay.
And then let it dry, and then wet it out again, possibly, if it all soaks in. And then I'll put my glass on top of that. So I'll put a radius in here.
Okay.
And then I'll glass up from all the way back here with a mat, and then I'll put in a rove, and then I'll put in a mat, and I'll build this up so that it's got a nice, so it's just proud, and then I'll grind it and ferret, and then it'll be ready for the mast base or plate or whatever the hell it is.
Boot? Whatever.
Boot. The thing that holds the boot on. I don't know what you call it.
Okay.
Sweet. And then we've got to cut this out so that it's a little less haggard, because right now it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it looks real bad.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
That's the project in between finishing the chain locker. So at least we know what we're doing now, and we can start fixing all of our chamfer issues.
Yay.
Yay.
Max? What are you doing? Okay, let's go. This is where Max and I go for our walks every morning, to get the day started with the calming power of nature and to remind us of why we are pushing so hard to get out into the wilderness. Good boy. This is where we come for our walks every single morning. And then it's back to work. And finally some ferrying.
It is still pretty ugly looking.
It is, but
but it's
another step done.
It's almost faired. Like, there's a little bit of fairing I'm gonna have to do around the outside. I think most of this is okay. it just shows like the color of the fiberglass through the thickened gel coat, because like that's how thin it is all the way around. Like there's not very much fairing.
But it's just to make it like even, right? It's not.
It's to make it really smooth, because this is going to be kind of like, it's going to be like this. It's going to be your smooth.
Yeah.
And so it's got to look finished. There'd been an adjustment made here where they actually moved this block. It used to be further ahead, and I think they wanted to change the rake of the mast, so they moved it back. And they glassed over top of the filler that they had. Then when the previous owner did all his work to it, he put these great big fillets in, and they're all filler, and he put them over top of this yellow primer that you see here, and nothing sticks to that. So everything that has primer on it, we're having to sand off and redo it all. But we're not going to put any, like, the fillet in here is done in fiberglass.
Yeah, and it was Bondo before, right?
Yeah. So we're not going to put any filler back in any of the repairs that we do, because like we've just had a huge problem with it cracking and stuff like that. So, and then underneath it there wasn't, like, there was just like Bondo or whatever. I mean, some of it may have been epoxy filler, but the water's gone through that and under it and kind of lifted up all of the paint and gel coat and stuff. So
yeah, it wasn't properly waterproof.
Yeah, so in places that we found that to be the case, we've had to take it right out and redo it. And it's the same with our bow on the top. I don't know what had happened, but they'd ended up putting like almost a ½ inch of filler in there, and we took it back. Well, here you can come see. So there's the deck coring, and it's all in good shape, or it was up to this point, but I've replaced everything there with solid glass. And this was a ½ inch low, so we filled this a 1/4 inch, and then this will be filled an 1/8 of an inch, and then there'll be another 1/8 of an inch over top to fill this area from here to here, so that it's got a proper crown and there's going to be no filler in it at all. And then we'll just have to fair it the same as we did back there. So it was just, it's weird. There was this one section and it's got a dip in it, but it's not anything new because it's been filled, and who knows how long that filler's been in there. I have no idea.
And by filler you mean the Bondo, right?
Yeah. But like, there's yellow stuff and that's the Bondo, and then there's this pink stuff, and I think it's actually an epoxy filler. Not really sure. The yellow stuff was Bondo though, like it just chipped up super easy.
We also added a few more layers of fiberglass to the front of the deck. So we have all of our pre-cut pieces here. You're not putting this on. You don't know me at all, do you? Just watch. How's it looking out here?
Not too bad, actually. I think we got a high spot here,
Which we knew we were gonna have.
maybe a low spot here, and maybe a low spot here. But it's actually not bad. Damn near perfect.
Is it?
Look underneath. It's just a little bit up front there.
Awesome. Yeah, it's still sticky. Once it was dry, the whole patch could be faired and those low spots brought up to the same level as everything else. Late night working also led us to some interesting swimming choices, like swimming off the lift dock at a very high tide. How's that feel?
It's cold.
I bet it is. Woo!
Surprisingly salty.
Worth it though?
Yeah, I feel a little bit better.
Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And a special thanks to our patrons for sticking with us with our new bi-weekly video schedule.